Welcome to the Library Love Fest podcast. I'm Virginia Stanley.
I'm Lainey Mays.
We are the library marketing team at HarperCollins Publishers.
Join us every week as we present buzzworthy books through author interviews, conversations with editors, and expert opinions from librarians like you.
Enjoy the show.
Book Buzz, HarperCollins Book Buzz. Check it out. Do-do-do, Book Buzz, HarperCollins Book Buzz. Brought to you by Library Love Fest.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Library Love Fest podcast. This is Lainey, joined by
Virginia.
We are so happy to be back with another round of Library Reads announcements. It's so fun.
It's so fun when we get on the list and not fun when we don't, which is hardly ever. So good for us.
Yeah, well, knock on wood, it hasn't been a while. It's been a while since we haven't been on the list, so
No,
don't want
really
to speak
great.
it into existence, but
Right.
but we do have a new round for the September list, which just came out, and we have 3 books on the list.
Oh my God. So awesome.
It's wild. We get it every month, and it is like Christmas. Like, we just get to unwrap this fun little note saying what books made the list.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, as soon as we get the email, we know we're on the list, because when you don't get the email, wah, wah. So yes, and then we try and guess before we open the email up to see if we're, and that's always too, because you know what? Sometimes we're surprised. And these are 3 really cool reads. So not surprised they made them, thrilled that they did, and wish all of the books could be ours on the list, but we're very happy for the ones that made it.
Yeah, to have 1/3 kind of.
I know. If there were 9, if it was a list of 9, we totally would have 1/3.
Yeah.
Because
so
we
we just
need
need 0.3333333
times pi.
Yeah. Well, if you don't know, Library Reads is a pick of the 10 titles of the month picked by librarians. So you vote, and every month the list comes out with 10 titles, and the order doesn't matter except for the first book. It's number 1. It had the most votes. And then we also have a Hall of Fame list. This month we don't have any authors on the Hall of Fame, but if we do, that means that this is the 3rd time they've been selected. They go into the Hall of Fame to give some other people a chance to make the list, which is a cool thing that they do. I'm glad they do that.
I love that they do that. They keep the list fresh that way, and it's fair. It's fair to other writers, and but the ones that make the Hall of Fame, or you get to know about them too. So all in all, a great list for librarians to share with their patrons, to say, hey, smarty pants librarians of the country voted on these, so you need to know about it. And, well, without further ado, should we tell them?
Okay. Do you want to do the honors, Virginia, or do you want me to?
I want you to.
Okay.
You are amazing.
That was my drum roll.
And
okay.
Nice.
So we have 3 authors on the list. Actually, a bonus. We have 4 authors, but we'll tell you about that in a second.
Very funny.
So the first book to make the list is BINDLE Punk BRUJA. So cool. It was a debut by Desideria Mesa. And we also have the second book in a really cool rom-com series, The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling. The first one, XX, was super fun, and now we're just excited for a continuation. And then we have another romance, A Merry Little Meet Cute by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. That's the 4th author I was talking about.
That's the 4th author. Yes.
Yay!
Yay! Woohoo! Very different, very fun. Super, super cool. We had Julie Murphy at the Texas Library Association conference in April. She was amazing.
Yeah, and both of the authors for Merry Little Meet Cute spoke at Day of Dialogue. They did a recorded video, and their energy is so fun.
Yeah. So those are our 3. And
Yeah. Oh, and we actually had Erin Sterling too on Facebook Live for the X-Hex. So, that it's not this book, but it's the first in the series. But if you want a little taste of what that is about, you can go watch the past video on our Facebook page.
yeah.
Yeah.
Chock full of author stuff.
We definitely have content for you. Don't worry.
We do. We are rich with content. Not rich with Porsches, but we're rich with content. Okay. Without further ado, what do we have, Lainey?
So one thing we do every month on this podcast episode, which personally is one of my favorite things we do, is we get audio clips from the authors who won, and we hear about their reaction to making the list, which is just like super cool. I don't know. I just feel like it's a good way to have like two-way communication, because this list comes out and I want to know what the authors thought about being on the list. So we request this from our authors in advance, and let's play the first clip we have.
All right.
Yeah. So this is for the first book, BINDLE Punk BRUJA.
Hey there, my name is Desi Mesa, and I'm the author of BINDLE Punk BRUJA. I wanted to let all of the libraries and librarians out there know that I am so grateful and thankful that they took the time to not only read this book, to vote for it and nominate it for this awesome Library Reads list for September 2022. I didn't set out to spread a message of anything in particular. I just set out to tell a story with BINDLE Punk BRUJA, a story about my family's journey here, their struggles, my struggles, growing up with minority parent and a single parent, and just all that came with our family's journey here and making a place here in America and in Kansas City. I chose a diverse cast of characters that, whether meaning to or not, ended up really highlighting the continuing struggles of women's rights and gay rights and prejudice that we were facing as a country in 1925 and are still fighting these fights almost 100 years later. So again, I'm humbled to those who have read it and are continuing to share this book. Thank you for helping me share this story, allowing me a platform to share this story. I'm just so very grateful. And I have loved libraries since I was a little girl. I homeschooled my kids, took them to the library every week with stacks of books that were too heavy for me to even carry sometimes when I was little. And I will just never forget those times and what that meant to me to be able to dive in to other places and just lose myself in a book as a child. And I continue to do so. And one thing that I remember is the smell of the books. I would go into the library and put my nose into a book and smell them. I don't know why. I know it's dorky. It's like, I love the smell of cut grass and I love the smell of library books. And I'm so excited that BINDLE Punk BRUJA is going to smell like the library too. I'm going to walk right in there and I'm going to smell my book. So thank you so much.
Oh my God. I love that.
I know. I love the smell of library books too. So it's not weird. Well, maybe it's weird, but I'm weird with you.
I'm weird with you too. Also, cut grass is pretty rocking.
Yeah.
I love that last line. I can't wait for my books to smell. Oh my God, that's a bumper sticker. We've got to start a bumper sticker business on the side.
I know. We do have like a lot of good quotes from our authors that we're always like, that needs to be somewhere.
I know it. I love that. Oh my God, that's
great.
How cool. She homeschooled her kids and took them to the library all the time. That's fabulous.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh.
Wow. Good for her. Okay.
Awesome. Okay. So the next, The Kiss Curse, Erin Sterling.
Hi, librarians. I'm Erin Sterling, and I'm the author of The Kiss Curse, which I was delighted to learn is a Library Reads pick for this month. I cannot tell you how much that means to me. Like a lot of writers, I feel like I owe a huge chunk of my career to libraries and librarians, specifically my hometown library in Dothan, Alabama, Houston Love Memorial Library, and my childhood librarian, Miss Betty Green. Miss Green was one of the first people who was not directly related to me to really encourage and support and nurture my love of reading. She was the person that I could go to after I had read Matilda or The Secret Garden and say, I loved this. What should I read next? And I would leave that library with an armload of books. And I think that had such a huge influence on me, not just as a reader who now reads very widely. My friends joke that if you take me to a bookstore, I will ping to just about every section there is. But also as a writer, I write YA and thrillers as Rachel Hawkins. I now write romance as Erin Sterling. And again, I think that sort of diversity of stories that I like to tell and stories that I like to read really all starts with librarians and specifically Miss Green. So again, this just really does mean so much to me. And it's especially nice that it is for The Kiss Curse, a book that is also very special to me. It is the second book in my Graves Glen series following last year's The Ex-Hex. These are stories about a family of witches living in a small town in northern Georgia and the various romances and magical shenanigans they get up to. It's also my love letter to my favorite season of autumn. So anything I could think of that felt really fun and cozy and Halloweeny, man, it is in these books. The Kiss Curse was especially fun to write too because it is an enemies to lovers story featuring Gwen Jones, who runs a witchy store in Graves Glen called Something Wicked, and how she has to deal with a somewhat stuffy gentleman named Wells Penhallow coming to town and opening up his own competing magic shop across the street. And when he does, sparks of all kinds definitely fly. So thank you so much for choosing this book, which was so much fun to write, especially during these tough times that we've been in. And again, thank you so much for all that you do for readers, for writers, for your communities. Again, being a Library Reads pick is just very, very special to me, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
That's great.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Great.
Yeah, she's wonderful. So good. Always hits it out of the park.
Yeah. And always fun to have on. You know, I have reiterating, go back and listen to our Facebook Live. That was super fun.
Yeah, that was. And the last one.
Here we go. So Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone together. It's great.
Hello. Hi to all of our librarian friends and librarian listeners. I am Sierra Simone.
And I'm Julie Murphy.
And
we are the authors of A Very Little Meet Cute. We were
going to try to do that at the same time, but it didn't work very well.
We tried really hard, but yes, we are the authors of A Merry Little Meet Cute. And we're so excited to be joining you today.
We actually used to be librarians before the epic best friendship that has led to this moment. We used to be librarians. We were each public librarians. I was in Kansas and Julie was in Texas. And one of the things that we really loved about working the desk was being able to send patrons away with one of those books that was just going to like totally change their day. Like the kind of book that we knew that they were going to open it and just disappear inside the pages and then be back the next day, just like hungry for more.
I think my favorite thing was people don't always know how to ask for what they're looking for. And so my favorite thing about working the reference desk was like trying to like puzzle piece that together to try to figure out like, what do they really need that they can't quite verbalize? I just little puzzles. I loved it.
Reader's advisory. It's an art form. So I think like during the pandemic, we really kind of came to value what librarians did so much more because like we all needed that sort of escape, but we didn't know how to ask for exactly what we wanted. And, you know, I think that's kind of one of the things that led to A Merry Little Meet Cute is we wanted to write a book that didn't exist yet, that was kind of this feeling. And this feeling was what it felt like to sit in a bed with your best friend, eating pie and watching like cheesy Christmas movies. And that's kind of how A Merry Little Meet Cute was born.
And telling dirty jokes. You can't forget telling dirty jokes.
Yes, dirty jokes and pie and Christmas. So if all those feelings could be in one book, that was kind of what A Merry Little Meet Cute was about. do you want to say a little bit about
Yeah, I
what
would love to tell our friends and librarians out there what A Merry Little Meet Cute is about. So we were watching one of these Hallmark films one night, and the thought occurred to us that the production quality, although we love them, of these Hallmark films were not all that different from the production quality of an adult film. And so we began to wonder what might happen if an adult film star was accidentally cast in one of these very wholesome Christmas movies. And that's where A Merry Little Meet Cute starts. So we begin with Bee, who is a adult film star and has aspirations of going into like mainstream Hollywood at some point in her career. And she is semi-accidentally cast as the lead role in this, very wholesome Christmas film. And she's cast opposite Nolan, who is a former boy band member, sort of like the bad boy of the boy band. And Bee, growing up, had the biggest crush on Nolan. And so she's a little bit mortified, a little bit terrified, a little bit excited. But what Bee doesn't know is the only person on set who knows her like alter ego adult film star identity is Nolan, because he is one of her biggest fans. And that's where our two little disaster love interests find each other.
I really love writing this book because we just, like, in total improv mode, kept saying yes to each other. We were like, okay, and what if it takes place in a small town where every day is Christmas? And we're like, yes. And okay, what if they're making a historical Christmas movie where someone plays a duke? And we were like, yes. And so we just kept saying yes to each other until we ended up with this sort of banana balls cast of characters in this adorable small town, and just writing this like really wildly joyful, inclusive, small town, but very, very dirty romance of So I guess we just really wanted to say thank you for like loving our naughty band of Christmas disaster babies, and
selecting us.
Yeah, and selecting us. Thank you so much for your support. And we are just so excited that we are reconnecting with our former like librarian clan to get Bee and Nolan into the hands of our readers.
Get the bumper stickers out. Reader's Advisory is an art form.
Oh my God, no joke. Fabulous, isn't it?
I know. I listened to this before we got on, and I was genuinely giggling with them as they were trying to say the title, and they're like, we practiced, but oh well. And it made me laugh.
Too funny. Really cute. I love that. Yeah, there's some, honestly, Lainey, we should think about it.
Yeah. No, I heard it on a podcast, and then it'll have
on a podcast. Ooh. I heard it on a podcast. That could be the name of our company.
Yeah. Well, I think it should have like the quote, and then at the bottom, heard on Library Love Fest podcast.
Yes. Oh, yes. Genius. All right, Lainey. Let's get Cafe Press in on this and make a bunch.
We should.
Oh my God, that would be so much fun.
Sponsored by, no, I'm just kidding. We're not sponsored by Cafe Press, but.
Sponsored by Library Love Fest. Well, those were wonderful. Great responses from great authors, and these books are all very fun and different, and I don't know, it's a celebration, really, great stories.
Yeah, this again, after I do the recording every month for Library Reads and hear the clips, it makes my whole day. So thank you to our authors for getting those to us, and congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. 3 out of 10, not too shabby.
Nope, not too.
Well deserved. Wonderful. Yay. All right. Well, everybody get reading.
Hope to see you next month.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah. The October Library Reads list votes are due September 1st. So get to reading and get to voting. And if you have any questions, librarylovefest.com.
That's it. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Lainey.
Thanks, Virginia.
Bye.
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 Thank you for listening to the Library Love Fest podcast. For more information on this week's episode, go to librarylovefest.com. Enjoying the show? We would love to hear what you think. Find us on Facebook and Twitter at Library Love Fest and on Instagram at Harper Library. Be sure to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and share the show with a friend. See you next week.